Anyone else growing a slight dislike towards Bellingham? There's something about him I've noticed I really dislike. His massive ego. Mr. PR. Overrated. Fraud. Arrogance. Bellingham is genuinely the most dislikable guy on earth. And it's not even debatable why Jude Bellingham is the most overrated, overprotected and arrogant player in world football. Something weird is going on with Jude Bellingham, and it is not the first time that we've seen this. It is very common in all walks of life for someone to be built up, to be praised, to be platformed to a level. Also, they could be torn down for the same reasons they were put up to begin with. Jude Bellingham, who for many people for the longest time has been seen as a darling, going back to his first interviews at Birmingham City, the maturity, the professionalism that shines out of him, the confidence, but most importantly, the actions of a person that portrays to have the mind and the head of a 30-year-old experienced top-level elite footballer. However, in the body of a, let's be real here, still a kid. I mean, seriously, look back to his first interview at Birmingham City.
To be honest, I tried not to think about it, but I couldn't help myself being not nervous but so excited, just making sure that all the basics, the fundamentals were on point. So where I was for set pieces, my role when we get the ball out of possession, just trying to nail that in my head really so I could do it out on the pitch. You've dealt with these at many age groups before, you know what I mean? Try and treat it like any other game with any touch, and so I seen it coming and I just thought I'll do what I'm used to and try and get the ball down and play like it was any other touch, so yeah.
I mean, really? 16 years old. 16. Gone to Dortmund and he's loved even more. However, over the European Championships, the tide has been turning over his year at Real Madrid and his time at England. And you're seeing things now begin to change. In today's video, we're going to go into that and comment down below your thoughts about Jude Bellingham and how do you see him? Because personally, just to start off here, anyone that dislikes Jude Bellingham, for me personally, I think you are mental. Smash the like button and also subscribe if you are new. And Mazzola Designs for the best football prints on the market, all made by myself. Use code JUDE for 15% off. And let's go. Jude Bellingham's debut campaign at Real Madrid has been one of the best debut campaigns in, I want to say, recent footballing history. For a young player to go to Real Madrid, to win the league, to win the Champions League, the Supercopa de España, the Golden Boy and Copa Awards, being named the La Liga Player of the Season and the Champions League Young Player of the Season, scoring 23 goals while assisting 13, and also coming clutch in key moments, including 3 goals in the El Clasico, 2 being 90th minute winners, assisting the goal in the Supercopa final, assisting the goal in the Champions League final, while also scoring 4 more goals past 90th minute. The kid's 20. An English lad going to Real Madrid is a rare thing. The last time this happened is David Beckham. And that, of course, as we all know, was a big deal. Real Madrid, obviously the biggest club in the world, the best club in the world. And that comes from someone that, I'm not a Real Madrid fan, I'm not a Barcelona fan, but if I had to pick one or the other, it would be Barcelona. But that's just my own personal choice. To go to Real Madrid in your debut season and completely tear it up and become a fan favourite in the first couple of months is incredible. I don't think people really understand the pressure that you have at Real Madrid. Like, it is obscene. His performances this season has been nothing short of magnificent. His production as a midfielder or as a kind of number 10 or second striker, his positioning has been one that has been questioned, as he's been a lot more advanced up the pitch compared to how he would typically usually play. And in every interview and every single time you hear him speak, he comes across like a role model, like a model citizen. And of course, as the year goes on, people begin to turn on him more and more. The bigger he gets, the more hype he gets, the more animosity begins to come his way. Despite all the successes this season, he's now being seen as an overrated player. One who is simply hyped up by his PR, by the way that he speaks, by the way that he portrays himself, and his goals are labelled as easy goals, tapping merchant, as what is labelled from him, that mask over poor performances. For example, the vast majority of games in the Euros, his goal against Slovakia, people would say that, well, that's masking his overall poor game, which, did he have an amazing game? No. But I wouldn't go so far to say that really anyone else had a great game either. The idea that his PR makes him look better than what he actually is, and maybe this is a very much a sort of social media thing, because when you speak to just the normal everyday people, they all seem to highly rate him, but online there's this ever-growing build-up of people turning against him, which I find completely ridiculous. Very similar to what you see to many players in Premier League. Marcus Rashford being known PR man, and Bukayo Saka, people aiming and targeting him for him limping after, average games, for example. It's a really weird thing, social media, and it's began to really turn up now for Jude Bellingham, as he's at the biggest club in the world. He's pretty much now the main star at Real Madrid, other than maybe now Kylian Mbappe joining the club. And people are now saying now the egos are going to be too much and you can't control them. I think they'll be alright. At Dortmund, Jude Bellingham was seen as one of the most praised players in football, seen as a special talent with a good head on his shoulders, and praised for maturity, professionalism, and his talent altogether. And his decision to go to Germany was seen as a mature decision, and a lack of off-field drama. He simply played football, played it really well, and represented himself in the club fantastically. Yet now the same maturity, the same well-spoken attitude is now being labelled as good PR, now that he's at Real Madrid. Jude Bellingham has got people making threads on Twitter, which is, I'm being deadly serious here, I'm scrolling down, this thread goes on for so long. There's like 80,000 words in this. Just to go in about Jude Bellingham apparently being the most overrated, overprotected, and arrogant player in world football. And to kind of go into the critique, Jude Bellingham has a big ego problem. I do not mind a bit of arrogance, but it has to be justified. Jude Bellingham, yours is not justified. Ronaldo has justified arrogance, Bellingham does not. This is a person who let the media attention get to his head and is looking to play on it. He thinks the team is revolving around him and everyone is watching England for him. I don't know how you even get that idea. By all means, Bellingham has some arrogance, some ego to him, but in theory, shouldn't really every single top elite athlete in any sport have the same thing? Of course, everyone will always say, well, what about Lionel Messi? Well, Lionel Messi absolutely has ego and arrogance. He does portray it in a different way, but he absolutely has it. I mean, we can't forget what happened back in the 2022 FIFA World Cup. He showed it. He's got it. Every single top elite athlete, you need that ego inside of you to get the best out of you. Otherwise, if you don't have that, then you won't be as good as you are. That's just the way I see it. Of course, there is overdoing it. People think Ronaldo overdoes it, and people definitely think that, let's say, Zlatan Ibrahimovic overdoes it. But I think to say that Bellingham doesn't deserve or is not justified to have an ego or to be a bit arrogant, I just think that's silly. Personally, in the Slovakia game, and he did, I think he did something with his balls or something towards someone. I don't even know what the context is. It's a bit weird, I'll be honest. I wouldn't do that myself. After he scored that goal, saying who else, people thinking that's like him being very arrogant or oh, who do you think you are? He's the person that just scored a bicycle kick or overhead kick, doesn't really matter, to keep England, his country, in the European Championships, which, by the way, if we won that final, would have been the moment to keep us in competition to win the entire thing, which we didn't, obviously. To have the balls to do a bicycle kick with a minute left on the clock in an absolute do or die situation in the round of 16 of the European Championships, to have the idea to even do that, never mind pull it off, for me, that is what makes it justified. Clutch moments in big games. He's a big game player. That's why when people are complaining, saying, why is he not being subbed off? Well, because he does things like that consistently. Don't forget, back-to-back 90th minute winners in El Clasicos. This isn't Real Madrid v Getafe. This is the El Clasico, bro. In his first season at Real Madrid, yes, I think having an ego and arrogance is absolutely justified. And for him to stay on the pitch, to have that moment, which he did, is absolutely justified. I find it ridiculous how social media and these weirdos are just completely going at Jude Bellingham, because I think that it is so necessary, and it is for a lot of people just seeing one of the best players at biggest clubs in the world and just trying to tear him down. And I just think it's weird. Tell me your thoughts down below, but that's just kind of what I think about the Jude Bellingham nonsense. He'll be a Ballon d'Or winner. Absolutely. And if you're an Englishman, you should be absolutely proud of him. So that's my thoughts. See ya.